Good morning from the shires on this cold and misty morning, a little bit damp, but hopefully soon we'll be able to warm the cockles of our hearts with some bonhomie and some beer as we head down to Kilburn and then Maida Vale and Marylebone for a cultural tour. So a few more guests this week, including Big Dave, the aforementioned Big Dave in the previous episodes. Odd chap. Under a thin veneer of respectability there lurks vice and violence. Hopefully we won't see too much of that later, but you never know.
Well, vice, hopefully.
Well, vice, he says, so that's good. Our driver, just to get us to the station, is chap Ian. I call him a steely and determined fellow. Sort of chap you might expect to work for MI5 on the side. Hopefully can throw in a few witticisms on the day. And of course the venerable Spider, who we've all met before.
Hello.
Hello there, he says. And not wanting to travel with us in the first leg of the journey, new friend Martin, who's making his own way there because he felt his largesse would be too much for Ian's sports utility vehicle. So he's making his own way there. We'll meet us there. What to say about Martin? He's quite an ideas man.
Time with his wife.
Well, he does spend quality time with his wife, that's true enough. He's an ideas man, quite bulky, so perhaps that's why he didn't want to get in the SUV with us. Argues a lot and wants his own way all the time. So we'll try and cut through that as we go through the day and put him back in his place.
Yeah, but that's what always happens. If you're henpecked at home, you want to get your way out.
Oh, that's true enough, as Big Dave rightly supposes here, that if you're henpecked at home, you want to get your own way outside. That and the fact he is half German. Don't forget that. Austrian. Well, Hitler was Austrian. Yeah, exactly. The Austrian corporal came from there, didn't he? So, and there's no accounting for that nation. All right then. Cheers for now. We'll catch up soon. So the chaps are now tucking into their fare already on the train of choice. Well, not actually the train of choice, because we had to change stations due to planned engineering works over the Christmas period. But we're all got some basically pork pies, sandwiches, little bottles of port in actual fact, to help celebrate a birthday. And I'm just looking down the list here, and the first one we get to is going to be the Constitution in Camden. Well, it wasn't always in Camden. It was actually built in 1858 in what was then Aga Town, but it became part of Camden, and it was acquired fairly recently in 2015 by Young's. No, it wasn't actually. It was acquired by Pubs of Distinction, who ran it for 4 years before it got bought by Young's, who suddenly just closed it down. Now, I do remember when passing there a couple of years ago, I thought what a fantastic place it was, overlooking the Regent's Canal, and it looked just sort of my cup of tea. And on recent visit, I noticed it was under refurbishment, so that rang a few alarm bells. Made it to the Constitution. Very smart inside, I think you'd say, very modern. My cup of tea? No, probably not. You can see who it's appealing to. Very middle class, maybe bourgeoisie, let's be honest. Food offering, expensive drink, very expensive drink. Sorry? Well, it's on average just over £6.
£6 pint.
Yeah, which I suppose it's about £1 more than it should be, frankly. Very wide bar as well. I don't quite understand what's going on there.
So they've got a lot of fat people working behind the bar.
Yeah, a lot of large people working behind the bar. So they've kept some bits they wanted to keep, but they've reduced the character. It's got no character anymore. It's a bland stereotype pub. That's what it is, frankly. There's a picture of King Charles as Prince of Wales putting a pint of Young Special. Whether that's in here or elsewhere, it's a job to know. But no, not really where I would... It's the sort of place you'd bring a girl on a night out. There we are. That's how I can best describe it. We've just come out of the Constitution, heading off to the Albert, formerly the Prince Albert in Primrose Hill. But yeah, it is a lovely pub from the outside. You have to say, the Constitution. I mean, it all looks very inviting, and they have done it well. But is it to our taste? And that's the whole point of this thing.
How many stars?
Okay, yeah. So all right. And,
While you're talking about the Prince Albert, can I ask if it's got anything to do with genital jewellery?
no, I don't think it has got anything to do with genital jewellery. Not Prince Albert, as in in the chain between your Jap's eye and the. No. I don't think it's so. But okay, so quick vote out of 10.
I guess 8 from me. 8.
8 from Spider. Ian?
A lowly 3.
A lowly 3. Oh, blimey, harsh commentator.
3 for me.
3 from new friend Martin. And Big Dave says
2 because it was open.
2 because it was open, and because you had managed to have a shit in there.
Yeah.
All right, well done. We're just passing through Camden Lock, and I can't help thinking that around here somewhere was where they used to film the Big Breakfast with Chris Evans and Gabby Roslin, wasn't it? Now, I always had quite a fond memories of Gabby Roslin. What do you reckon, Spider? You're our man on the moment on Things Women.
I'll be honest with you, I've seen her on TV lately, and she's 60, and you still would. You definitely would.
I'm not quite sure what he means by you would. I'm not going to go further in saying you would what, because that might be a bit too provocative for this channel. So what you're trying to tell me is you think Gabby's quite attractive still?
Very shaggable, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, no, you can't say that. God, Lord.
I'm saying it in a nice way. I mean, it's, you know...
That's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I didn't quite understand that. Right. Oh, well, thanks for that contribution, mate. So, but we do think the Channel 4 studios was near here, though. In short, right? Okay, good. So what's that you say, Ian? You said date a bird from round here. What, Primrose Hill?
That's true. Back in my youth, I used to date a bird called Mary.
Ooh, Mary. I bet she wasn't too contrary, was she?
She didn't hold much back.
And on that, what else have we got to add? What other experiences of Primrose Hill have you got to share with us?
There's a very good bakery round here, and there's a man who makes his own sausages.
Makes his own sausages?
There was a butcher.
Pork or beef?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's an interesting insight into your yesteryear, mate. Anyway,
thanks.
Any reflections on Primrose Hill for you, Spider?
Bit too posh for me, mate. I'm more Camden.
you always consider a bit of rough, I suppose, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, no, we're approaching our next pub, the Albert, formerly the Prince Albert. Apparently in the 50s they used to have a resident bookmaker, although judging by the eau de Nil from the outside, I suspect we won't find a bookie in there today. Nevertheless, we'll go in, and since it's not my round, we can make this Martin's round because it looks expensive in there. All right then, catch you later. So inside the Albert, actually, it's quite a decent pub in here, quite authentic. Dark wood panel bar, horseshoe shaped, mixed crowd, but you know, a little bit less bourgeois than the last one. Some nice banquettes. Yeah. It is eau de Nil. I mentioned that already. But anyway, whilst we were here, we happened across a conversation where Spider mentioned something about women with attitude and how to deal with them, I think, was probably the main thing. So anyway, Spider, over to you. What did you say about the solution to that problem was?
Well, I don't think the audience know what the problem was in the first place. The problem was getting nowhere with your women, with your do you fancy me or don't you fancy me or whatever. And I would say to you, did you try the approach? What do you need, my dear? A damn good spanking. And you take it off your knee, get a good spanking. And usually making love.
Well, do you think in the 21st century that's probably the politically correct approach? Yeah, no, I think perhaps not. But
you could offer the Dutch pancake, but
the Dutch pancake as an option. Oh, I think we're going down a blind alley with that one, to be honest. But anyway, well, thanks for the contribution once again. Whether or not it makes the cut, I don't know. But always insightful comments from Spider. Well, just north of Primrose Hill, we happened across a Marriott hotel that looks a perfect example of 70s architecture, perhaps earlier, who knows, and another interesting blue glass building, somewhat reminiscent of the Spectrum building in Bristol, so probably, I don't know, maybe just a little bit post-brutalist. We'll have to look at that. Yeah, post-brutalist, we'll call it, but in a very interesting style. I'm going to take a photo of it and do a bit more research, because frankly that needs including. Okay, cheers. Well, I did do a little bit of research into the Blue Building, and the architectural group that was responsible was Sir Terry Farrell, son of Newcastle, in fact, which is quite interesting, because he will have no doubt have grown up in the Owen Luder era and saw the construction of the Gateshead multi-storey car park. And there are one or two design cues in this Visage Apartments, it's called, the Blue Building in Primrose Hill. Um, that look very reminiscent of the Gateshead multi-story that we all know and love from the Get Carter film. So do compare and contrast if you get the chance, and see if you agree with me. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye for now. Well, after quite a lengthy walk over Primrose Hill and round and about, we find ourselves on Kilburn High Road, and we've just passed the famous Gaumont State Theatre. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we have our next break. But yeah, so here we are in one of the famous places in London.
I'm told it's a Roman road, is that right?
It is It was formerly a Roman road. Probably probably Watling Street, I think. So that carries on as the A5 as you go further up north.
Is it straight enough?
It's as straight as a die, though, isn't it, mate? I mean, look at it. It's straight as a die. Is that the right?
Is there a bit of a bend towards the end?
Right, that was a bit of a dog leg, yeah. But I mean, I think we can forgive the Romans for that. They probably had to divert round a pond or something. Or a drunk centurion, one of the two.
Maybe so.
Anyway, so we're going to the Black Lion in Kilburn, which is a camera-designated heritage interior. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. First time visit for me. Before we double back on ourselves and head back to some other pubs just off the high road in Kilburn. Whew. Well, we've made it to the Black Lion in Kilburn, and we've snuggled in a cosy little segmented off area by a gas fire. Absolutely lovely in here. Opulent, in fact, I'd say. As we mentioned, on Watling Street. And the interior apparently is from the same architect or designer as the famous Blackfriar by the Blackfriars Bridge, Frederick T. Calcott, I think. Described by camera with unusual effusiveness as a tour de force, and it really is. It's really something quite special. Anaglepta-esque mouldings on the ceilings, wood panelling all round, beautifully polished floorboards. Somewhat reminiscent, to my mind, of the Falcon in Clapham, only even more. I don't know, opulent, I suppose, even if I repeat myself. So, yeah, splendid. You've got to come here. I'm having a pint of Santa Claus by Renegade, which I had a few weeks ago, and very nice. Some Oakham's ales on. And my companions are lounging in leather-studded chairs at the moment, or studded leather chairs, if you prefer. Unfortunately, Spider has to get a stool, so he lost out. But there you are. Be quick off the mark next time, old chap. Cheers for now. Just a few more notes as we pass back down the Kilburn High Road and we pass the Gaumont State Cinema. Actually, it's quite a vast place inside, 4,004 person capacity when it was built back in 1937. Many famous acts have played there, so let me just list a few of them. The Beatles, Rolling Stones, Deep Purple, David Bowie, Black Sabbath, and Harry Belafonte.
And I did when I was 25.
No, Martin, you never played there. So I mean, what a great place. Now it is the home of the Rauch City Evangelical Church. As has become the fate of many concert venues and cinemas over the years, very sadly. But hopefully the Rauch City Evangelical Church can preserve it in its state, and one day it might reopen as it was intended, as a home of entertainment rather than a home for, well, I don't know, what do you call it, worship, whatever. All right, cheers for now. In the Priory Tavern. All quite pleasant in here, a little bit empty, so a little bit soulless, to be honest. But nonetheless, we've had a decent pint in here. Nice horseshoe bar. Original fittings by those things. It's an old Truman pub, which is nice. And Spider doesn't really much like the slightly gaudy wallpaper, but I guess that's a personal thing. it does lack atmosphere, but you know, it is only 4:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, so we can forgive them for that. Just a bit of history, though. It was founded. The pub takes its name from the priory that was founded by 3 Benedictine canonesses, Christina, Emma, and Grinaldi, on land given to them by a hermit called Godwin. Well, it's not every day a hermit called Godwin hands out hand, is it? And they helped the pilgrims who were travelling between St Albans and Canterbury along the Watling Road, the old A5 as we mentioned earlier. It claims to be in West Hampstead as well, but frankly we found it just off the Kilburn High Road, so you know, you pay your money, you take your choice there. I'd say it's a fair pub, to be honest, and I'd rate it as a fair, a fair 8 or 7 to 8. Slightly lesser votes from my colleagues, so on average about a 6.5, we reckon. Okay, cheers for now. Just leaving the old Bell, Kilburn, which is a historic old pub on the High Road again. Dates from 1750 apparently, and rebuilt in 1863. Well, there you are. And we're still on the Watling Road, of course. But yeah, decent pub, tiled on the outside, and quite busy. Bit of an Irish flavour. And relatively inexpensive compared to some of the pubs around the region. It's got those nice sort of, I suppose you'd call them beer-coloured tiles on the outside. Roomy. Yeah, not a bad pub. Decent pint of bitter as well. We had Hobgoblin Pale, I think it was. And I'd come back. Yeah, I'd come back here. Probably a 7, I'd go, on balance. Anyway, I'll find out some more history and add it later on. Cheers for now. Arrived actually now at the Carlton Tavern, which is interesting in many ways. It's been through a few highs and lows over its history, demolished and rebuilt and such like. But I'll try and regale you with as much detail as I can. If I refer to my dossier of this day's tour, but it was originally built in 1921, but sadly was demolished in 2015 by a Tel Aviv-based developer, that's Israeli developer, who didn't get any planning permission and just knocked it down one weekend while the landlady was out stock checking, or so we're led to believe. Oh no, she was told they were stock checking, and when she came back at the end of the weekend, it was demolished. But to their credit, Westminster Council subsequently ordered the pub to be rebuilt brick by brick, which it was, and it reopened happily on the 12th of April 2021. So yeah, that was a massive survivor. And not only that, it was the only building in the street to survive the Blitz in World War II as well. So again, you know, it escaped and the Wrecker's Ball or what have you. Now, oh my goodness me, there is a slight problem in here in as much as it's full of small children, but it is quite relatively early, about 5:30, so we'll forgive that. But there was another pub here earlier, well, on the same site at least, but that was actually destroyed by a German bomb from the Gotha raids in 1918. So it's had somewhat of a checkered history. But anyway, I'll try and find out some more details, and I'll add them later on. We're arrived at the Warrington Hotel, and Big Dave has just described it as the most beautiful pub he's ever been in, and maybe I won't go as far as that, but it certainly is a fantastic pub. Built in, what did we say just now, 1857. It has been through a few restorations over its time, and it's been through the unwitting hands of Gordon Ramsay, which probably didn't do it any favours. But most famously, of course, it was the scene. Well, yeah, no. I don't think we need to be that disparaging about our friends over the Caledonian border. But anyway, it's been through a few hands, and but nonetheless, in spite of all that, it's retained much of its character and remains a brilliant pub, and I urge you all to visit. Not least for the fact that it was a starring role in the Sweeney episode Night In, which is an hour well spent for anybody's viewing. Yes, indeed. But I did just go upstairs to the gents, and I discovered there was some building work going on. And I was a little bit disturbed to see some evidence of false ceilings. Now, I really hope they're being dismantled instead of being inserted. Not easy to tell at the moment. Nevertheless, the pub remains a gem. It's a joy to come here every time.
It's the best
and Big Dave thoroughly recommends it to everyone. So anyway, that's our very bijou review of the Warrington. I think it also featured in a Minder episode, if that's of any interest to anybody. And one other little passing fact. It was rumoured to be an upmarket brothel once upon a time, and the fact that it was near Randolph Crescent apparently has some connection with the word randy. So if you're feeling randy and you're in Randolph Crescent, it's all down to the Warrington Hotel. Okay, take care. Cheers for now. Moving on, more history. People who were around this neck of the woods, Glenn Matlock, for example, from the Sex Pistols, often found in this pub, and also the one we're going to next, the Prince Alfred. David Ben-Gurion, the first Prime Minister of Israel, if anybody was interested or aware of that. Alan Turing, also born on this road. God bless him for all his efforts in the Second World War, and God, forgive all the people that persecuted him for his sexuality. Of tragedy that he died under the circumstances he did. The Clash, also known to frequent this area, and Malcolm McLaren, and also Sid and Nancy, who had a temporary accommodation, the OR pied-à-terre, if you like, just around the corner from the Prince Alfred. But really, I mean, the place is rich with history, as we all know, with John Peel and the Maida Vale studios just around the corner. So come to Maida Vale. It's got some beautiful, beautiful pubs. It's got some lovely history, and you may even encounter the odd celebrity. Uh-oh, a fork in the road. Hey, Big Dave, where do we go now?
It's always straight on.
Always straight on? Oh, I don't know. We're supposed to be trying to get to the Prince Alfred. I think we've walked too far. We're currently on Castellane Street. Well, I know that you say that, but I think it might be further. I think we better consult the map. Anyway, we're always better to ask Spider on these occasions. What do you reckon, mate?
I haven't got a fucking clue, old friend.
Oh well, not much of an input from Spider, but nevertheless, let me consult the map and we'll find our way. So we find ourselves in the Prince Alfred in Maida Vale, the second of a pair of absolutely exquisite pubs in this area. This one scores extra because it's a Grade 2 star listed for English heritage, and a camera 3-star heritage for the interior. Built in 1856 and refitted in 1896 apparently, and it still retains the old compartment styles where you have to duck under the doors, a little bit like the pub in Portobello Road, where I can't remember, and also the Princess Louise in Holborn. Not that many claims to fame, other than the fact that Glenn Matlock drinks here from the Sex Pistols. Bowie recorded a video here, jazzing for Blue Jeans apparently, and there is also a listed gas lamp outside. So I think mainly renowned for its stunning etched glass, which is absolutely to die for, if I'm honest. The service not the greatest ever, but the beer's all right. And yeah, of course, it's one of those places you just have to come to. Is it the moon under the water? Probably not, but is it a stunning pub? Absolutely yes. Spider, you seem to be a bit lagging. We're in pub number 7, and pint number 7. Pint number 7, I should say. And I'm not used to seeing you half a pint behind the rest of the crowd. What's going on?
I don't know quite half a pint behind the rest of the crowd, but I am lagging a little bit because it's been a bit of a boozy old Christmas. I've enjoyed it immensely, but a bit of a clear run-up to be able to shoved down a gallon and a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, I am a little bit concerned because you are normally Churchillian in your drinking capacity, and it does concern me a little bit, but I'm not entirely surprised because you're always a little bit fast out the blocks, always go for those high strength beers early on, and on a long day I've always felt that might be folly, frankly. How do you respond to that?
Well, I've had a bit of a slow start. I'll put it down to
Old age?
no.
Lack of sex?
Out of form. Just out of form.
Out of them. A bit under the weather. A virus. Shall we call it a virus?
As I say, like, form is temporary, bass is eternal.
Ah, well, there we are. The final word to the master, who, let's face it, has turned many a situation around over the years, and I'm hoping he will. So we've just entered Weymouth Mews. Unfortunately, we had to forgo the barley mow at Marylebone as it was shut, but we've just walked out. And it is quite a magical little environment down these Mews streets in Marylebone. And Spider just said, what did you say again, mate?
Mate, it's absolutely full of celebs, pop stars, and people in the know. It really is. This is the place. This is where you get your...
Endaway? No, what?
Christine Keeler.
Oh, okay.
Stevens, all that sort of stuff, you know. It was all happening here.
Ah, right. In the Mews of Marylebone. Well, that's quite an
Behind them doors.
That's some quite incisive comment from Spider there. But let's go. We're gonna press it. Oh, you're joking.
Nope.
The lights are on though, Martin.
Closed.
Oh my goody lordy. Right, first
Dave.
next. Oh, I don't know where Big Dave's gone. He's probably going to relieve himself against the wall somewhere, I imagine. Well, that is very disappointing. So that's the two pubs that we wanted to go to down Marylebone have shut. So we're going to.
And plus, we haven't seen any celebs either.
And we haven't seen any celebs, unfortunately. Well,
A big
fortunately.
disappointment.
Big disappointment for Spider. Nonetheless, we all.
I think that's Lulu.
Oh, who was that? Sorry?
I thought it was Lulu.
Lulu. Well, she is a celeb of sorts from back in the day. Anyway, let's press on and see if we can find some crumb of comfort in another hostel.